Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. I will be in this time slot bringing you my expertise as the listening mentor each and every week. So today's topic is about multitasking and listening at an elevated level. And it's going to be a very short topic because it's not possible. We think it's possible. We think that we can scroll through our phone, looking at our phone. Yes, I hear you. What? No, I'm listening. No, it's not possible. Whether you're watching TV, whether you're at your computer doing work, you cannot be listening at an elevated level if you are doing anything else other than listening. All right, so let's get started. My role as the listening mentor is to make you aware of behavior traits that you are doing in your own life. And it's so much easier to look at our own life when we look at what somebody else is doing, right? Think of yourself in a public space, watching people go by, and you can actually kind of understand what's going on. You can see the dynamics between two people, whether they're getting along, they're not getting along, whether they're walking in tandem. And it's the same thing when it comes to listening skills. Have you been at a restaurant and you saw that the majority of the people there at the table were all on their devices? It happens all the time, but yet we think we're being present. Oh, I'll just lend one ear to the conversation. No. So my goal is to teach you how to listen at an elevated level, and listening at an elevated level is not possible all of the time. We have to actually create boundaries of when we can listen at an elevated level. So one of the things that happens on a regular basis is we're not able to be fully present as a listener because we haven't set a boundary, or the other person hasn't asked for permission and we're in the middle of doing something. And we cover that in episode 1. So just as a quick recap on that, when you're going to listen at an elevated level, that means that you've carved out this amount of time to be there for someone else. And as I just mentioned, you can't be doing it all the time because you actually have other things that you have to accomplish. When you're listening at an elevated level, you are really giving the other person a gift. It is a gift that is priceless. It's your time and your undivided attention. Think about some time in your life when you wanted to speak to someone about something and they were doing something else. Maybe you walked in to see your boss and your boss is in his or her office working on the computer or got some paperwork in front of them, and they're there for you, but they're doing something else. They're not actively listening. They're not listening at an elevated level. And you feel that. You feel that they are not fully present for you. So my goal with these shows and with my work as the listening mentor is to give you tips and guidance to recognize when you're out of alignment in terms of your listening skills, and also to recognize it in other people as well. Why is it important to recognize it in other people? Because if we want to be heard, we need to be heard by someone who has the capacity and the time to listen to us. Things happen to us all the time. We get very excited about it, whether it's a positive or a negative feeling, whether it's a high vibration or low vibration of energy. But we want to tell someone about what it is that just happened. And because it just happened, we're all geared up, we're all emotional, and we need to tell them now. This is the moment I need to tell you because it just happened. It is a major priority in my life. It's going to affect everything, and I need to tell you now. No. You do not need to tell someone now. You need to deal with your emotions. You need to take a step back, literally take a step back, take some deep breaths, control yourself, and then ask for permission. We discussed this last week, so I'm not going to go into it again. You can go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV, and you can find that lesson there. Now, the next thing is, which we covered last week, is setting boundaries. When someone asks for your time, asks for that opportunity to share with you, we should, out of respect to them and to ourselves, define the amount of time. Now, you might think to yourself, well, I'm not going to ask my husband to give me 10 minutes. Well, you're not going to get the attention that you want, most likely. Ask someone for permission, whether it's your child, your employer, it doesn't matter. It shows respect and it shows integrity. Bill, would now be a good time for us to have a chat for about 10 minutes? Something just happened. I'd like to discuss it with you. Bill has the opportunity to say yes or no. Now, let's say Bill doesn't care. He just says, okay, sure, keep going. Is Bill really listening? No, because Bill's doing something else. So now you are not going to be heard and you're going to be frustrated. And this is how inner peace ends up becoming a battle with the other person. So we don't want that. So let's move on to today's lesson about multitasking. And we're also going to incorporate interruptions, because many times those two go hand in hand. We're going to look at a role play and you'll see more about what I'm speaking on. So if you are doing something else, I just shared with you, it is not possible to be listening at an elevated level, no matter how good you think you are. And how do I know this? Because I thought I was great at it. I used to brag to people, oh, I have 6 devices going and I can still hear what you're saying. No, it's not possible. I can look like I'm listening, but I'm really not. So I had to change my entire behavior. And this happened a number of years ago in my corporate role. So you can also change your behavior, but you need to acknowledge it. I know we're all busy. We have 1,000 things going on, but I'm encouraging you to set aside some time in your day. I even put it down on my clipboard that I have. I write it down when I'm going to be doing self-care and when I'm going to be available to others. When I'm available to others, let's say at the dinner table, I don't have my phone with me, because if I have my phone, that's a distraction. So keep those things in mind. Now we're going to take a look at a role play. And this role play is all about interrupting, and then I'm going to combine it with multitasking. I want to thank our wonderful actresses from Vienna. I'll be putting up their names who did these role plays. They're professional actors, and they're under the tutelage of one of our team members, Christine Amy Artner. So we'll take a look, and then we'll have a chat. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Karen, for attending our meeting. I would like to come up with
I have a few numbers for you.
Okay, sorry.
Interesting.
Excuse me. I was just about to tell you what I need from you.
Yeah, of course. But the numbers are
Excuse
we have
me, Karen.
sales
Karen,
for
Karen, hello.
5,040 and 8.
Karen,
Yeah?
are you on drugs or something?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Can you please just listen
Yes, of course.
to what I
can.
want from you?
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah, the sales numbers are like 589. I think that's very important.
Okay,
because
stop. Wow. Stop talking and now please listen. Oh my God. So last month,
Also,
there
I
was-
think it's very important to do this
Okay,
now.
now.
The sales
Karen,
numbers
I'm sorry.
are
I'm really sorry.
548.
Take a break. I don't want to fire you, but take a break and think about this.
What?
Okay, I need a break. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Thank you so much to Christine Amy Artner, Anna Vera Dutter, and Fiona Turler for working with me and putting together these role plays. I really do appreciate it. You can go follow them on Facebook. I'm going to leave their names up for a little while. So this was obviously a directed role play about interrupting. At the same point, it's also multitasking. What do I mean by that? So Fiona, who was in this role play with Christine, was looking at these numbers for some project, something that she'd been asked to do, and she was consumed with it. She was consumed with it and not paying attention to what Christine was asking. And as you saw the dynamics between the two, although this is something that was directed, this happens all the time. Now people start getting their backs up, right? You saw Christine and she said, you're lucky I'm not firing you. And in a real situation, that person could have been fired. But Fiona was so intent on what she was doing that was her priority. She thought that was the most important thing. And Christine, who had called the meeting to order, was leading the meeting and obviously had information as the leader that she was going to share. But Fiona was intent in expressing what she wanted to share during this meeting. So I'd like you to think about a time when you've been with someone else, and let's say you're the one who's already in place, you're already in the room, and the person comes in and you're working on something. I don't care if you're knitting, you're baking, you are painting, whatever it is you're doing, and someone comes in the room and expects you to drop whatever you're doing so that they can tell you what they have to say. Now, when you think back to this situation that happened with you, you realized, maybe not then, but now looking back, that A, you weren't present, and B, it was on your nerves to some degree because this person just intruded. So I want you to think about that the next time you have something to share with someone. Is this the best time to share this ultra important news that you have? Maybe your news isn't important as in terms of an emergency or priority. Maybe it's just about your day or somebody that you ran into or something funny that you thought of or something you watched on the television. If you want to have somebody be there for you where they're really present, then you have to do these things that I'm telling you. Now, that doesn't mean that in the course of your home life or your professional life that you can't just have chit chat and banter without dropping everything and setting everything aside. No, because that's how we are in life, right? We have small talk. But when we have small talk, even think about it. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? I'm great. The other person's already gone. We're not listening. They're just pleasantries. Or you walk into someone's office for the first time, or maybe somebody's home you've been invited to. Oh, I love what you've done with the house here and this and that. They're not really listening because they're now taking you on a tour. They're thinking about what's in the kitchen, or you're thinking about where you're going to sit. It's not a conversation that's at an elevated level. So again, key takeaways are you're not always able to have a conversation at an elevated level where both people are fully present. So don't try doing it. You're going to drive people crazy. But pick and choose when you are totally present and available for the other person. Now, let's go back to the role play. We're going to be playing it again so that you can pick up some tips from what I'm saying right now. In this role play, Christine is the boss. She's called a meeting to order with Fiona. So it's just the two of them. Now, should Christine have set the stage or the tone when she opens up the meeting? Should she have maybe given an overview of how long this meeting was going to take? If maybe even if it's on your calendar, it's still nice to say, hey, Fiona, thank you for taking this time. Our meeting today is going to be about 1 hour long, and you will have an opportunity to share whatever it is. For the next 15 minutes, I would appreciate it if you would give me your undivided attention. I see you're working on something, and I'd really like to hear about that. But for now, could you please put it to the side so that we can begin? When you're in a meeting, and I've done this before, and you see the other parties have their devices out, which typically they do, I will ask them to put them away. or I will wait until they have put them down before I begin to speak. And I've shared this before, but I was at a major Fortune 500 global company, very well known, delivering a $5 million pitch, and had a whole boardroom of people there. 3 people in front of me I had never met before. They were on the leadership committee, and they were coming in now after we've been working on this deal for 6 months, and they were on their devices. They literally were on their devices as I was standing in front of them, and knowing that they would not be able to listen at an elevated level, there was no reason for me to even start the presentation, because if these gentlemen have the ability to say yes and they own the budget, I need their undivided attention. So I did something to get it. So I'm sharing this with you so that you can think of how it could apply in your own life. So they were in front of me. They were decades younger than me. And I just stood there. And all the other people were looking at me, waiting for me to start. And finally, one of the gentlemen looked up and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm waiting for you to put your device down so that I can have your undivided attention, because I'm sure what I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to have a lot of relevance to your organization and the project that you're looking to hire someone on." And his eyes flew open and he put his device down, and they all stopped and said they were sorry. So I took a little bit of a risk, but I needed his attention. I needed all their attention. So don't be afraid to ask for someone's attention. In a home situation, what I suggest is the same thing. Keep in mind, if you are at home and your loved ones are returning, they have been going through whatever they're going through in their day, and you've been going through what you're going through. I learned this the hard way also. I actually went to a marriage counselor about this many years ago when I was married. My husband would come home from work, and the minute he'd walk in the door, I'd be like, "Hi, how's your day? What happened? How'd it go with that deal?" And of course, I was working because I've always been a career girl. And he would just get overwhelmed because he literally just left the office and needed some time. So what I learned in the therapy sessions was that give him 30 minutes to an hour. Ask him, "How much time would you like to take so that I can have your undivided attention?" And he needed an hour. So then I gave him the hour. So think about how you can incorporate that in your life. Even though you've had a lot of things going on and you're excited about what your day has been like, everyone needs to come down off of whatever they've been doing. They need to keep their emotions in check and have that time to just be there for you. Okay, so let's go back to the role play. I shared about what Christine could have done. Now, Fiona had her own agenda. We don't know exactly what the agenda was, but she was really concerned, fixated on these numbers. Now, when Christine started off the meeting, Fiona could have said, "I'm really glad to be here with you. I want to hear whatever it is you have to say. Something came up in my department, and these numbers are vitally important to you and your team and may impact what you're going to discuss today. I'm not sure. Would you like me to share that with you now?" "No, I would not like you to. Thank you for bringing it up. We'll take it on at the end of the meeting." Okay, so let's watch the role play again. And I want you to, if you're watching on the live, which I know most people watch us on the replay, but if you're watching on the live, I would love for you to put a comment in what feelings are coming up for you as you're watching this role play. Let's take a look.
Well, thank you, Karen, for attending our meeting. I would like to come up with
I have a few numbers for you.
Okay, sorry.
Interesting.
Excuse me. I was just about to tell you what I need from you.
Yeah, of course. But the numbers are
Excuse
we have
me, Karen.
sales
Karen.
for
Karen. Hello.
5,040 and 8.
Karen.
Yeah.
Are you on drugs or something?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Can you please just listen?
Yes, of course.
To what I want from you.
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah, the sales numbers are like 589. I think that's very important.
Okay, I want to stop it right there. Now, you might think to yourself, well, this is a role play and this doesn't happen in real life. But think about how something similar does happen in real life. One person's speaking, the other person's not listening, and the first person, A, does what? insults the other person. You're a jerk. You're a creep. Are you on drugs? When she said that, right? She's putting her down, putting her in a box. Like, you must be on drugs because you're not listening. So now, who's the bad guy in the situation? So we started off with Fiona, who clearly wasn't listening and was being disrespectful to her boss. And now Christine's behavior has changed. Now that she is getting herself worked up because she's not being heard by Fiona. Okay, so now we have two people who are not open to even listening to each other. And what do you think happens after that? If you're in a situation and that happens over and over again in your home, in your work, it's not going to work out well. Something is going to take place. And this is what I believe is happening in this world. People are not listening to each other. They're getting angry. They're getting defensive. They're throwing tantrums. They're raising their voice. And we see the outcome. We see violence all over this world. And no, each situation is different. And maybe somebody had mental health issues. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just making a general statement. The general statement is, when we don't listen to each other, we feel rejected. We feel dejected. We feel anxious. We feel angry. We feel frustrated. We start talking faster. We start talking louder because I want your attention. But it doesn't work. We are not going to get the results that we want to get. Now, just sharing what I did with you, I have pains in my chest from talking like that. Just giving you an example. It doesn't feel good in our bodies. And then as we walk away from the situation, from watching that role play, I asked Christine and Fiona, how did they feel even though it was doing a role play? And Fiona shared that she was very surprised at how Christine acted toward her. And Christine was very upset with how Fiona acted toward her. So even though it was a role play, it was physically draining for both of them because they were acting, but these are lower vibrational energies that are coming across. So let's recap what I've discussed so far. It is not possible to be listening at an elevated level and be doing anything else. So the next time your loved one comes to you with something to share, please put down your phone, put down your computer, turn off the television, and be present. But set aside a certain amount of time. If the person doesn't give you the request or ask for your permission and they just start launching into whatever it is, which we do all the time, we just start blabbing on and on and on with no regard for the other person. You, as the listener, have the right to say, time out, Bob. Bob, I would like to listen to you and be fully present. And I'd like you to ask for permission the next time. Just ask me, is this a good time? Is this okay? And as a result, I'll let you know that I am available. I will put down and put it down. Put your stuff down. I will put down what I am doing right now, and I will give you 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, what is your role as the elevated listener? Not to interrupt. Not to say a single thing. Nothing. Just listen. You don't have to nod your head, yes, no. Just listen, because that's what they asked from you. And as we will discuss in future episodes, you'll be listening without your own agenda. I have 27 shows a week on this platform, and that's going to increase. And I watch people all week long. That's what I do. Especially, we've got a couple of panel shows, and it's great to have the panel shows because we have people who have different backgrounds, people from all over the world. And what is so evident is when one person starts speaking and someone isn't in agreement with what they have to say. Now, we don't have to agree with the other person. You're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're Catholic, you're atheist, you're whatever it is. But what we do is we switch off. What? She's Catholic. Did she say she's Catholic? Oh, I don't. That's what we do. Maybe we don't show it, but inside we've switched off. So we'll talk about that in a future episode. We come up with solutions. Solutions. I didn't ask you for a solution. I asked you to listen. But for some reason, you're compelled to fix it for me. I don't want you to fix it for me. This happens many times in very personal relationships, men and women. Somebody wants to fix something. No, not appropriate. And interrupting, as we talked, and stage hogging, which next week's show is stage hogging. So we'll get into that in a moment. So I want you to picture this role play that we've looked at 1.5 times so far. And I want you to remember the dynamics. And although this is with paid actors who are not paid for these are professionals. That's what they do for a living. And they volunteered to do this. So I don't want to misconstrue. They were not paid to do this, but they are paid actors. So they're professionals and they can do the scene and then they can leave. But we, in our human role, we don't leave the scene too well. We carry it with us. And then what happens? I remember 5 years ago, I asked you for XYZ and you said blah, 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 blah. And where does that take us? Nowhere. But we remember that you didn't listen. We remember that every time I tried to share my story with you, you kept cutting me off. And we harbor a grudge. When we listen at an elevated level, we are honoring the other person and we are honoring ourselves. So please embrace what I am sharing with you. Maybe you don't feel it pertains to you. I can't speak for everyone in the world, but I can say we are all human beings and we all feel good when we're treated with respect. And learning etiquette and manners, learning effective communication skills, learning how to listen at an elevated level is treating the other person with respect. If you'd like to know more, if you would like to actually join my mission to become an advocate for elevated listening, I'd love to have you. And this is the opportunity for you. We have a team of people who believe in this mission and who probably, I can't speak for all of them, but I would say the majority thought that they were excellent listeners. And as I mentioned, I listen to people all week long, week after week after week. And I don't judge anyone. I just listen. I think it's fabulous when someone shares something that is different than what I think. Instead of getting offended, which so many people do, immediately they're up in arms. You can see their body language. Well, and I feel like this is fabulous. I want to hear what it's like in your world because I can learn something from you. I don't have to be just like you. I don't want to be just like you, but I want to learn from you. I would love if more people took that on as part of who they are. So, in this mission to help more people realize that they're not a great listener, there is room for improvement. I'm rewarding people for doing so. And what does that look like? I'm going to share my screen and just walk us through very quickly what I'm talking about because I find some people are better learners visually. Okay, so I have the Power of Listening Certification Foundational course. This is what I'm talking about. I have a number of courses, but this is the first one. When you take this course, it's 2.5 hours long. It's $157, which I've lowered from $257 because I know there are people across the world who are not able to afford $257. So the standard price is $157 now going forward. And we also will have some special coupons and promotions where I will publicize one of those for you today if you're interested. And you can actually take the course for today for $30. That's for today only. So I'll give you that code in a moment. So this is the course. You take the course. There is a 7-question quiz. And then you will get a certificate. And once you get the certificate, you can actually have your certificate and the fact that you are an elevated listener on my website, drjacalyn.com. So I'll put your headshot and your certificate right there. Why is it important? because people want to be heard. And if you can tell people, guess what? I took the time to learn how to listen at an elevated level. I'm going to want to work with you. I'm going to want to network with you because I know you're not going to overtalk me. When we're on this platform, people will go on and on and on. Or someone's talking and someone else interrupts them. And I don't interrupt anyone because I believe that everyone has a right. Now, people don't follow the rules per se because this is a television show. We have certain parameters, but I don't cut anyone off because I want to show that person the respect that they deserve. So thank you for being here today for my Talking Heads. I will be here at the same time each and every week. And again, I'd love for you to join me. The promo code today to take that course is LISTEN, LISTEN. It's $30 for today, and I will put the link into the comments, but it's Dr. Jacalyn, DRJACALYN thinkific.com. Again, go to that course, The Power of Listening certification course, and use the code LISTEN. All right, our next show is coming up. It is the Corner Bookstore. I will be right back with Diane Floyd-Boehm and our guest for today. Remember to treat yourself with respect and treat other people the same way. It'll come back to you. Bye.